Welcome, poets! This is your host, Jacqueline King of the Poet's Dilemma podcast. It is such a pleasure to begin this journey with you as we discover and unpack how we make choices, why we make choices, and for what. I thought it would be a good idea to share with you a little bit about myself and who I am. I was born in Los Angeles, California, to a dysfunctional family in December of 1991. I am the second youngest in a wildly large number of siblings. I spent most of my formative years in the Coachella Valley, confronted with the desolate landscape of tumbleweeds, chocolate mountains, and fire ants, marching to the tune of date palm beetles. Ultimately, living in the desert and my traumatic upbringing activated my journey of introspection at a young age. I craved to know the why. Why do people behave the way they behave? Why do hurt people when there is a path of healing? What are we afraid of? What influences our coping mechanisms, and how do we unlearn them? At 7 years old, I declared God was dead, but the spirit was very much alive. At 9 years old, I learned the lesson of forgiveness, and it would take another 2 decades to learn the lesson of self-forgiveness. I repeatedly falter. I become overrun with anxiety and guilt. Even with the expansive tool belt of resources I have built for myself through years of therapy, self-reflection, and active work on my mind and heart, I falter. My mind is endlessly curious. I love meeting new people and have this ability to help people open up quickly. Human connection, imagination, and discovery are core values of mine. As soon as I was 18 years old, I got on my first flight and have been seizing any opportunity I can to travel the world. I studied intellectual history at UC Berkeley, motivated by uncovering the relationship between the philosophical discourse and the historical milestones of the corresponding time. The symbiosis is undeniable. Poetry has been my catharsis from before I knew how to spell properly. For decades, poetry has been my companion. Last year, I self-published my first poetry collection, Casting Shadows, and self-funded an international book tour to 4 cities: San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, and Barcelona. It was at this time I performed my poetry, allowing many of my poems to finally be finished. I've built a career in enterprise software sales, and while when I was in my 20s, I experienced a lot of insecurity around the work I did and struggled to feel fulfilled, I am thankful for my job. Tech sales afforded me the opportunity to go to grad school at the University of San Francisco, where I received my Master's of Fine Arts in Poetry. That experience was the most beautiful gift I've ever given myself. I inspired me. I showed me that I could be a writer. All I have to do is write. So in the end, the compromises I made to my beliefs were in exchange for something that I actually greatly needed: stability, security, and independence. I hope one day I can fully transition out of my sales career that has surely scrutinized me, but has also taught me. And now, that brings us to our shared time together. This is a place of discovery, curiosity, play, and dialogue. I'm going to share my poetry and my mind and my experience and my reckoning of life with you. And I hope that through this shared time together, we will all learn more about each other, cultivating empathy so we can leave the world a more loving, a more beautiful place than we found it. This podcast is dedicated to cognitive, spiritual, emotional, and physical retribution. We'll tackle a dilemma each week. I'll share with you my viewpoints and the way that I've considered the repercussions of cause and effect. I'm well studied, but I often find much of my knowledge to be intuitive, so please fact check me, challenge me, open my eyes to the lives you lead, and I'll show you mine. Many blessings, poets. Let's get into it.